an NGO, but we are now a corporation. We are seeking for big profit, but not letting our social purpose down. So how we do it is we have one scheme for the budget. So this is the secret. How can we squeeze many budget from the corporation for funding our makerspace, for funding our event organization, education, training, and so on. So actually, this just came in from PwC. Later, a few months ago, PwC made a transition from the procurement focus on the organization. So, company right now disburse their budgets based on cost-effective value right now. And what we are doing in Makedonia is we are shifting this, what we call it in Jakarta is budget, high tight budget corporation. When we ask for the budget for the events, they will squeeze our budget half to 50%. And so that's what happened in Jakarta, in Indonesia, with the payment of invoice as short as 6 months. So this kind of painstaking to us to fund our innovation projects or makerspace running in the business in Jakarta. So what we are doing is we structure our value on the budgeting to the corporation. Let's say while we were doing the hackathon on the last February, we have the budget about $50,000 from one big telco in Indonesia. 70% of the budget goes to the makers, not to Makedonia, goes to the makers. So we ask from the budget, the mentor budget for up to 20. So we crafting the hackathon budget into a summer camp. So the hackathon is only a package to ask for the big budget. But actually, the budget not goes to hackathon. The budget goes to the makers. We invited up to 20 makers and give them a big fee from the $50,000. So we started. We give the specialization for the suppliers. So our makers is our suppliers. That's how we do it. We don't give the budget to the audio video rental. No. As long as our makers is our suppliers working for or having their own audio video budget, we give the budget to them. So all of our suppliers is makers, not vendors. So the budget will come to the makers, and makers will benefit from the budget from the corporation, and then they will sustain their self and their organization. And also it will be strategically if we can spot the scale and utilization of the supplier location. Let's say we are having in Jakarta, so all of our makers we invite nearby in Jakarta, so there is less cost for the transportation or staying here for holding an event or workshops, and we charge for product or service design fee to the corporation. So instead of we taught them the organization fee, we charge them product and design fee. So it will make more intangible, and the intangible is deserved to be for a higher fee, right? So the corporation can do bargain with us, but they can do bargain for the service design fee because it's intangible. And also this will be, the cost and value is very valuable because we put much budget makers as suppliers. So we tell to the corporation that your budget is going full to the community, not to Makedonia, not to the organizer. So the value is skyrocket high because it's impactful to the whole community. That's what we do at Makedonia. So, and it's all depend on the service level. Our service level is beyond 100%. Let's say while we are doing hackathon, our KPI is only getting 100 participants. What we actually did is we gathered 400 participants with the same budget for 100. So our value is far high. They give the budget for 100 participants, we deliver them 400 participants with the same budget. And also technology is important. We are using many tools like design thinking. We are using Hackpad for the hackathon. We are using any tools available to make the event, to make our running the Makerspace is less cost and efficient and impactfully we did it. And we have also, it's very standard, make or buy. If we can buy, so we buy, not make it. It depends on the supply location, and if we can buy the stuff from the makers, we buy. If we can make, and the makers can make, we source the budget to the supplier, which is the supplier is only the makers. There is no outside makers for the suppliers. Even though for the catering service, we disburse the catering service to the makers. We ask them, can someone of you doing the cooking? So this is the budget, maybe $1,000 or $2,000. So the budget catering goes to the community, not to the big catering services. So this will make, because the outcome is the cost and value that we can deliver the SLA more than 100%, and it will make sense when we are doing it in Makedonia, event after event. We're doing the same structure actually, and company cannot bargain with us. So that is our journey. Before that, the usual business practice for the event management or event budgeting, event sponsorship is we have a lot of negotiated price, right? If we ask for $10,000 for the hackathon, some organization will only keep half of it for the same KPI. They say, I will ask to 20,000 for the 200 KPI, and then they cut the budget for a half, but maybe more KPI. So it already happened here in the corporate greedy world. So we structure the value. That's how we do it. So maybe anybody can have a set about it also, about being fully making an event or making a meetup, making a product, having a problem with the squeeze budget and cutting, and somebody or some person cutting your budget, and you feel that they didn't respect the community. So that's the story. And by the way, even before PwC released this, we already have a blogging about this. So I don't think this is not a surprise for us, because we have already been doing this a few years back, before the PwC released this transition budget. If you have I have a quite experience for this rebidding approach when we bid for the projects, and then the project rebidding because the cost of the bidding participant is very high. So we can avoid this into this more saving and more value by the key is, the important key is on this supplier specialization. The supplier should be the makers also. That's the key. All of the budget goes to the makers. That will make the makers more wealthy. and we can be a lot of making a new event because the makers themselves can make their own small event based on this budget. So this is what I have in mind, and also my co-partner Yuri. Maybe you have a vision about this, man.
I want to add what you said. Maybe in our makerspace we are not talking about business as a common general business model. We are talking about the purpose and meaningful. What we are doing now is we are trying to aiming the social impact about the innovation. That's why our makerspace now trying to transform to the new innovation hub. We try to create things, a new project with the help of collaboration. We are not doing this alone. In Indonesia, we try to engage with so many partners, so many corporates, so many government officials, and so many government researchers and from the academic. We try it now, and then all because we are now focusing on how deep we want to go to do something. We are not seeing that how is the impact. First, we see each other as like-minded people trying to know how much you sacrifice. We are to letting people know, oh, this is our capacity, and we can sacrifice up to this amount, or this is the capacity, and can sacrifice the time. How much, how long, how many period. And we see that as a starting point. We want to build something. We try to build the foundation. Maybe we haven't achieved yet for the highest tower now. We're still creating the pillars, and we're still creating the modules, we're still creating the engagement, all from the Indonesian community. Luckily now, we get a chance to meet here in Southeast Asia. We are not thinking about going the innovation from all the makers to Southeast Asia can create a new centralized networking. It's good for us. As maybe this budget can fit, because we are seeing this as how much we stand and how long we are going to stand and how much we are going to sacrifice, and we can predict how long we can survive. And based on these things, the budget proposal, based on the value that we want to create, we can think at how good our project is. That's it.
One question.
Okay.
Sorry, this is off topic, but I would like to ask you about impact measurement. How do you measure the impact of things that you do when you collaborate with for example, if you work with government agencies, is there a KPI for those who work with that, or how do you measure the success rate?
Based on this approach, our only measure is from the supplier specialization. How many proportion of the budget goes to the community? Let's say we are running hackathon for $20,000. When we calculate the budget for going to the makers, the catering goes to the makers as a caterer is 70% of the budget. That's our KPI. So we envision that supposed to be the more meaningful. All of the budget will go to the makers, zero to Makedonia. So that's what we are aiming to. Zero to Makedonia, 100% to the makers. And we already did that. Zero to Makedonia and 100% to makers in many past few events.
To answer maybe about the government KPI, we see that because now we are building the awareness about makerspace community in Indonesia. Last 3 years we started as a co-working space, and then 1.5 years ago we are trying to be a makerspace, engage with the prototyping tools and then more hands tool. We try to knock the government official, but in Indonesia we are not, still cannot find a suitable umbrella. So for the makerspace, we're still doing now in the grassroots. So our KPI is the government official engaging as personal. So maybe Bayram is also this one is our government official. But he engage as a personal. This is our KPI. He helped us a lot, and also from the corporate side, there is Mr. Firstman from Intel also. He engaged with us as a personal, as a maker.
Volunteers.
So first one from Intel Southeast Asia managing the budget. So we have been introduced ya Pak. Gitu. So they understand that being on the corporation that give the value impact for the budget is important right now. So we are talking about this every time ya Pak. All the budget goes to the makers. So thank you Intel.
And also, maybe we are aiming that Makedonia has a zero profit. It means that Makedonia didn't lose. We only cover our operations, all. But the most value must go to the makers, or in-house maker, or any maker space. Because whenever we have some grant or impact investing, we just directly deliver to the makers. So the in-house maybe didn't collect anything. But the makers grow. If the makers grow, the house will grow, right?
So what happened is we call it Makedonia is we earn the profit because the budget goes to the makers, not to Makedonia, and I will call the makers. How much can you contribute back to the Makedonia? So that's the part we earn the profit, not get the profit, but we earn the profit. We ask the makers to contribute by the profit they're making from our inception in the middle. So this is the corporation. The budget goes to the makers. This is our makers, and we can ask the makers, hey, how much your tax to us? That's kind of we earn the profit. So that's how we remake the budget from the traditional type budgeting into the more value impact. So the makers can feel that they are happy, they have the money from the projects by the reform of Makedonia, and they have to contribute back to the Makedonia. So that's how we measure the key impacts.
Yeah, maybe in my experience in investing also, so many investment or venture capital try to aim in the startups. So the in-house incubator maybe collect the tax before the startup running. So the startup didn't get 100% investment from the investor. There is a mentorship, assistantship, and maybe they get less. So the startup already depleted at the first time, and then they try to operate. If the startup fails, the incubators maybe still get the profit, right? Vice versa, Makedonia. We are not aiming that directly to the startup, so the startup has to survive first. Same with the government, of course. There is no tax if you cannot make profit or economic value, right? You don't have to pay tax, you're lost, right? You get benefit also. But in Makedonia, you are lost, there's something wrong, we have to fix it. So the makers, they try to create their own models or their own business or their own activity, they are also carry with a purpose. Without the purpose, you cannot get profit. That's our opinion.
So if the maker make a loss, basically you don't get anything from the makers.
Yes.
Yes, and if, actually we close the makers loss, but with our own fund. So we fund the makers who have loss. Actually, we care about them.
For now, maybe we will suffer a loss.
They suffer and we heal them. So that's what.
But that is a subsidized in China, not subsidized.
It's very difficult for Makedonia to remain sustainable.
Yes. We try to make it sustainable.
It's very tough, but right now we are going into more sustainable actually by half. There's a lot of organization in Indonesia, not only NGO but government and also big corporation, knowing this kind of budgeting, and they came to Makedonia to make a big impact to the society, and at the end they put aside. This is our support to Makedonia. This is for the makers. So I think hopefully we can make this we can make a makerspace more sustainable by using this kind of methods. Right now, there is no bargaining to Makedonia from any corporation. We didn't accept bargaining for the budget actually. Our budget is full to the makers, so maybe corporate goes to bargain to the makers, but it's tough, right? It's tough to disturb the living of the makers.
Question: how many years have you all run Maker?
Second years already. We are trying first into the makerspace, but we are turning into the more innovation hub. So it's like we are the parenthood of the makers in Indonesia.
Indonesia in general or Jakarta?
Indonesia. In Indonesia.
What would your key value proposition be to clinch sponsors?
Our value is from the SLA actually, the service level. We give more than 100 with the same budget. Like I said, $20,000 for 100 participants, and we give them at the same budget for 100 participants. So that's our value, and we already know that Makedonia can do a lot of project, can do a big project in a short event and in a short notice. Last week we just knew that XL Axiata and US State Embassy will do the hackathon right now. The preparation is only 3 days, and I think everybody know in Jakarta that if you want to have a event, meetup or projects or big project within a short notice, you can only go to the Makedonia.
Why is that? What actually makes that possible? Is it models, systems?
We have the models, we have the system, technologically, systematically. We're using design thinking. We're using the jobs to be done by Christensen too. We are using a platform from hackpad.com where there is nobody before in Indonesia doing hackathon using Hackpad. We are the first hackathon organizer using Hackpad. Hackpad.com is very useful for the short organizing anything. So we are using all the product, process and technology to make it better, faster, but not cheaper.
Okay, so thank you, Iboy and Yuri, right? Yeah, so please join me in thanking them. So I think what they talked about was really interesting. We don't have 400 people here, but we have a lot of quality people, and thank you guys for being part of this event. So